Assalamu alaikum students, good day audience. Hope everyone is fine, everything is good. This is your instructor Abdul Rafi for accounting and mathematics. So in today's topic is basically about the paper pattern and the syllabus for mathematics of Pearson Edexcel International GCSE for MA1. Okay, so it's for MA1. We are going to discuss mathematics paper pattern and syllabus, just like we have discussed some other syllabuses as well. Students need to understand we are going to talk about the higher tier as an overview and in detailed discussion of what you should expect and what are the paper is going to come about. So let's get started. Students need to understand that now the exam only happens in June and October. Okay, so January is discontinued, sir. So the exam only happens in June and October series for this Pearson Edexcel mathematics for MA1, and we have basically two papers. Okay, so we have paper 1H and we have paper 2H. Okay, so in the higher tier, we'll talk about foundation tier later. So in the higher tier, we have sir paper 1H and paper 2H. Students need to understand that both of them have the same weightage, that is 50% equal weightage. Okay, 50% weightage, you can say 50% weightage for paper 1, sir, and 50% weightage for paper 2. Okay students, then the next thing is when we talk about the weightage, we need to show that it will be 100 marks paper. Okay, each paper, both of the papers will be 100 marks each respectively. Okay, so both of the papers are going to be 100 marks each. It is a 50% weightage for both of them, and students need to understand basically there will be 6 sections that you are going to be tested, which is numbers and number system, equations, formulas, identities, sequences, functions and graphs, geometry, trigonometry, vectors, and statistics and probability. Another important thing that students should understand is basically all the topics are tested, students. It is not like this paper 1H will be testing all the topics, and whatever topics does not appear in paper 1H, they will be tested, students, in paper 2H. So students have to prepare for all the topics, and you can expect that we can say that basically they are on the experience basis and on the past papers of 2022, recent 2023 and recent papers, you can say that they test around 22 to 25 questions, each of different marks. Okay, so questions can be of 1 mark, 2 mark as well, and questions can go up to 6 to 7 marks as well, students. Okay, so questions can be ranging from, I'm not writing it down this, but I hope everyone gets this, that questions can be ranging from 1 mark to 7-8 marks as well, and you can expect almost 22 to 25 questions in each paper. So that is what about paper 1 and paper 2H are. A lot of emphasis on this Pearson Edexcel International GCSE Mathematics for MA1 in recent papers is basically on the problem solving and reasoning. Okay, so problem solving and reasoning is playing a very important role, and the reasoning, so you have to make sure that you know the reasoning behind whatever you are giving the answer, and your problem solving skills should be very well. Okay, so mathematical reasoning skills should be good, your reasoning skills should be developed, students, and problem solving skills basically should be there. Now let's talk about what does each section will have. Okay, in the higher tier, it's very basic and simple, as we already have known that numbers and the number system will talk about standard form numbers, decimals, fractions, prime numbers, you can say ratio, proportion, limits of accuracy. So these are all the topics, just to give an overview, that you will be tested on ratio, proportion, percentages, sir. Okay, so you'll be tested on ratios, proportions, percentages, and the degrees of accuracy, which is upper bound, lower bound. Okay students, so degrees of accuracy, we can also say standard form, and these are all the different type of topics that will be tested. Okay, so these are basic easy topics, make sure you are doing very important in this. You can talk about set language, set and Venn diagrams as well being tested in this part of the syllabus as well. The syllabus is extensive. One more important point that we forgot to mention, was about the calculator. That calculator is allowed in both the papers, okay students. So that's a sign of relief for the Edexcel students, that calculator is allowed in both the papers, whether it's paper 1 and paper 2. Any other questions that I might have missed out, or any other points that I have missed out, you can ask in the comment section as well to get a more better understanding. So sets and Venn diagrams, we got ratio, percentages, degrees of accuracy, standard form. So these are the basic main topics. We have basic topics like decimals, fractions as well. I'm not writing their names. Next we have section number 2, which is about equations. You can say in simple words, it's about the algebra, sir, equations, formulas and identities. So you can say that here they are going to test you on your formulas and linear equations, proportions, okay, direct proportion and inverse proportion, okay. So they can test you on proportions here, simultaneous equations, okay, algebraic identities like that one, a square minus b square or a plus b whole square. So simultaneous equations in which you can have linear and quadratic both to be solved together, one linear, one quadratic. Inequalities is a very important chapter as well, students, here in this part of the section. And so this is what about section number 2 is about linear equations, simultaneous solving, about the quadratic equations, okay. So these section number 1 and 2 are basically not that much difficult if you have a practice, and these can be done within a period of 1.5 to 2 months as well with proper practice eventually. Next comes a very important section that is a bit different as well, and have a lot of weightage in recent past papers. It have a lot of weightage and they're asking a lot of questions, and a lot of students struggle in this topics, okay. Struggle here in this chapter, section number 3, a lot of students struggle. So there is first thing that you have arithmetic sequence can be tested, okay, which is part of the A levels before, but arithmetic sequence can be tested. The formula sheet is also given. Another point to write it down, that you also have a formula sheet as well, okay. So formula sheet is given, but based on my way of teaching, I don't prefer students using formula sheet only in times of trouble. Otherwise you must have done so much practice of the topics of mensuration that you don't have to look at the formula again and again. The formulas should be imprinted on your mind, okay. So we can say, students, that there is no need of the formula sheet will also be available, okay. So those are the things. Yep, so coming back to section number 3, which talks about functions. So all types of graphs will be tested, students. It's about quadratic graphs, we can say linear graphs, reciprocal graphs, cubic graphs, okay. So a lot of different types of graphs are going to be tested, as well as you can say that we have coordinate geometry here as well comes in, and function also being discussed here, okay. So functions also get discussed here as well, that you must be clear about that functions will be discussed here as well, in which we call that inverse functions and composite functions, and how to do the how to find out inverse functions. So those are the things, as well as a very important part is calculus and kinematics, okay. So calculus, the differentiation comes in here, which also comes with calculus for applying with kinematics as well, which is acceleration. A lot of recent papers have asked 4 to 5 marks questions on acceleration, velocity, displacement. So calculus is very important, the differentiation, turning point, stationary point, gradient of the tangent and those things, okay. All different types of graphs can be tested. Also in functions you can be tested on domain and range as well. So this section requires a lot of time, and I would suggest spending 1.5 months on this section to get a better understanding of this, because a lot of difficult questions comes from this chapter, okay. So you can say that this is a difficult level, this is basically difficulty level is high here, okay. Difficulty level is high here, and medium difficulty level for section number 1 and 2, okay. Next we talk about, sir, section number 4, which talks about geometry and trigonometry. So if you talk about geometry and trigonometry, it's all about those same things like, sir, polygons and the shapes and geometrical shapes and circle properties, circle theorems. A lot of students struggle with circle theorems in general. So circle theorems, polygons, we can say circle properties, triangles, symmetry and mensuration, all types of 2D and 3D shapes, 3D trigonometry, you can say sine, cosine rules and basics, Pythagoras theorem, all those comes in with similarity as well. The similarity is a lot of difficult. So again, 1.5 to 2 months should be spent on section number 4, at least 1.5 months to understand better of geometry and trigonometry as well. We'll be discussing in more detail when we are solving those questions of past papers on this. So in section number 4, everything is included, which is basically, you can say 2D shapes, 3D shapes, and all types of similar shapes, similarity concepts, mensuration, Pythagoras theorem, and those things. Next, we come on to section number 5, students. Section number 5 is about a new topic, that is a new topic that, and a lot of students struggle with that as well. Vectors is a highly, they will talk about lambda and mu. You must know about the scalar vectors and different types of vectors. You can easily expect 5 to 6 marks questions minimum on vectors. You can expect, students, 5 to 6 marks. And about transformation geometry, it's all about reflection, stretch, and that is also part of the A levels. Okay, so they are giving a flavor of it here. Reflection, stretch, and translation needs to be done thoroughly with they might be tested with sine, cosine, tan graphs as well. It's just a summary I'm providing, that reflection, stretch, and translation are also important. That is basically called transformation geometry. And vectors can be done through, there can be proof of the vectors as well, there can be solving of vectors as well, and vectors, magnitude finding, scalar quantities, this can come. Okay, then we have section number 6, which is a basic one, that is about statistics and probability, and they test different types of representation of data. So you can say it's nothing, just like it's like histograms. This is also easy level, or like medium level of easy, medium level. This can be high difficulty level as well, sir. So section number 3, 4, 5 are the most important things, I believe, in which students have to place a more important role, and they have to understand the complexities of this and spend more time. Statistics and probability can be done in 1 month as well. It's about conditional probabilities and independent events, about tree diagrams, how to find out interquartile range, okay, upper quartiles, lower quartiles, and more often it's about histograms, frequency tables, and cumulative frequency, and those things. That is all about section number 6. Okay, so this is an overview about the syllabus. Coming back to the paper pattern, students, we have discussed a lot of things. One more important thing I would like to share is the grading system. You will be awarded between the grade of 4 to 9. Okay, if you are giving the higher tier, you can expect grade 3 as well, I believe. Okay, you can expect the grade 3 as well, but students should be aiming for 7, 8, and 9. So 9 is the highest grade, followed by 7 and 8 respectively. Those are the grades as well, which will help you get good admissions in university as well. So grades also matter in this. If you work hard for this, you can easily score 9 as well. Just have to make a preparation planner. Okay, spend some 8 to 9 months are required to get a good grade in this, or 7 to 8 months for an average student. And yep, that's how it goes. So you can get 5, 6 as well. So that is all about it. But one of the important things moving forward is a very important thing that a lot of students don't know. And just to summarize that how much is the percentage weightage being tested. Okay, the percentage weightage of being tested. So I will write down that objectives and the weightage, which section is more important and which sections have played a more important role. So follow carefully, students. It's all about, students need to understand that, sir, section number 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we can say that section number 1, 2, and 3. So this is, I'm telling, because of if anyone wants to do smart work. Okay, if you want to score more marks, okay, because of 200 marks, if you can score 160, 170 marks, you are in the safe zone. Okay, so section number 1, 2, and 3 will come cumulative around 57 to 63% weightage. Okay, students, that is what you need to understand. I'll repeat my point, students. Paper 1 and paper 2 combined will have questions from section number 1, 2, and 3, which is numbers, algebra, and sequences, functions, and graphs. Numbers, algebra, and graphs. They will have about 60% weightage of the paper. Next comes is basically section number 4 and 5. You can say almost 25% of the paper questions will be on geometry and transformations and mensuration and trigonometry. Section number 4 and 5 will be geometry and trigonometry vectors. They will constitute around 25% of the weightage, and only 15 or 12 to 18% in this range, or you can say 15% weightage is of basically statistics and probability. So this is a very good opportunity for students who are planning out their exam paper for May June 2025 or October November 2024, or the next sessions like in 2026 or October November 2025. Make sure plan it out in such a way that you score marks as much as possible, and out of the 200, as I said, if you get 170, 175, 160 even, you are in the safe zone and you are qualified to get basically an 8 and 9 mark. Okay, 8 or 9 out of 9 grade. So that is a basic summary. I hope everyone got this. It was helpful as well. Again, I repeat, any questions can be asked in the comment section. Follow and for more content. Thank you, students. Have a great day.